Namaste and welcome to the Curvy Yogini Spotlight. I'm Dana Smith, founder of Yes Yoga Has Curves, and today we have online
All
Nathalie
attendees are
Caty.
unmuted.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello. How you
Hi.
doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I want to thank you so much for agreeing to be interviewed and share your inspiring journey with everyone. So, can you tell us, how did your yoga journey begin? Like, what led
Okay.
you to it?
It began about 2.5 years ago. I tend to mix up the years. You know, after a while, when months goes by, as a week goes, I'm like, has it been a year? Has it been 2 years? I think I'm going on my third year. And I'm part of an organization called Black Girls Run. I don't know if you're familiar with that
Oh, I'm
organization.
very familiar with them. I actually have a good friend that's part of the organization.
Yeah. And so there was a studio that was opening up in North Miami Beach, and one of the members invited like the whole Black Girls Run to come and check out Bikram yoga. And I was just like, you know what the heck? With 20 other ladies, we decided to try it. And I was the only one that liked it and kept going back. So what does that say about me, right? Yeah. So I went there, and the instructor had like an introductory offer for try it out for a month for $50. So I said, you can't beat that. So hey, let me see what happens. And I've been doing it for almost 3 years. Love it.
Wow. So what did you like about it? Because I tried Bikram like several times. It's just so hot. Me and my hair, we can't get down with it.
The type A personality, the same position 26 times. Structure.
Okay.
It's structure. I've tried other form of Bikram, and when they go up, down, do all these variations, I can't stand it. I need to know exactly what I am going to do next. So it's just a total type A personality issue.
You know, it's not an issue. So that's not.
It's not an issue.
No,
yeah, but it's a total type. It's a type A personality. It's just like I needed the structure, and if I know what I'm going to do next, I prepare myself, I strengthen my body, and I just go for it.
And that just goes to show you, for those listening that don't, if they had a yoga experience and it didn't work for them, there is a yoga for everybody. Really, there is.
That is correct. Actually what that young lady did for me, I'm doing it for other young ladies. So I try to do every other month a group session to introduce people to yoga by attending the Bikram yoga class. And so if they like it, they come back.
That is awesome. Awesome. So was running the thing that inspired you to start practicing yoga, or was there something more to it?
It was running. I got injured. I was running a lot with Black Girls Run, and then all of a sudden I pulled my IT band, and I still kept running, and so I ended up aggravating it even more. And then this gonna have you laughing. And so when I hurt my IT band, I went on a vacation to Bangkok, and on the trip we had an opportunity to ride an elephant. So I got on the neck of the elephant, and so by doing that, I kind of widened my what they call it, the groin area, and so I further hurt myself more trying to get on the back of an elephant. So next thing you know, I really injured myself. And so I said, you know what, I wasn't really taking quote-unquote yoga seriously as much and going every day. I would go like maybe 3 times a week, or when I had time, I would show up. So my doctor at the time just recommended that I continue yoga and do it as much as possible to at least help with the IT band and help with my flexibility as well. So now I practice between 4 to 5 days out of the week.
Awesome.
So I go a lot, and I just finished a 30-day challenge with my yoga studio.
Awesome.
So I actually enjoyed it, and I just like the evolution of my body by doing all that.
As much as I would love to get into a class, that many times a week, we talked about it with our first interview. Just doing something every day helps, like 10 to 15 minutes. So getting into a class, it's great. You got all the great energy around you, but you can still do stuff at home. Now, do you find yourself turning up the heat at home and practicing any of the Bikram poses?
I do. Actually, I'm famous for it. I was this guy that I was dating. I was at the beach with him, and I got myself into a Bikram move at the beach. And I was like, really? Nathalie, really? You're at the beach? And he was like, enough of it. And then if I do a group run with the ladies, I also, for the end of the run, for the stretching, They're like, you're going to make us do something crazy. I said, yes, y'all are. So I actually get them to do one of the big, at least the hip opener. So I actually get them to do a hip opener and to actually stretch them after we finish running. And you can see their face, but after a while, they actually kind of enjoy it. So I'm famous for doing that when I'm not in the class, to say, okay, we're going to stretch, and y'all going to learn how to stretch properly, especially after we finish doing the workout.
And, you know, it's interesting because I see a lot of people come to yoga to help heal from an injury. We see a lot of folks that they are very active, and yoga helps them to, again, heal from an injury, and it also helps them to improve whatever activity that they're in. Now, do you find that doing yoga has really improved your running?
It has, but it also improved like anything else I'm doing. Like I also do strength training, just only 20 minutes a day. And so with the yoga, you know, the key thing with yoga and any activity is your breathing. And so I was doing some plyometric workout, and I was tiring myself out. I was like hyperventilating. You would have thought, like, please go get the crash cart because I'm about to go down. And so I was just like, and so my trainer was looking at me. He's like, you take yoga. Why are you breathing this hard? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I do. And so I started to take in my yoga breathing, was breathing in and out of my nose to calm down my heart rate. So it actually made it much easier for me to go through the workout and don't realize that I'm overexerting myself. And it's the same thing with running, because even with some of the girls, they'll see me running and say, okay, there she goes. She's focused. She has that breathing going down. And I'm like, okay, I see the finish line. I don't see anybody next to me, in front of me, behind me. I'm just going there, and I automatically just switch to my breathing and just go for it. So with yoga, it's more for any other activities that I do. It's more for the breathing. It's great for the flexibility because I no longer have that pain or that pinch or whatever. But my key thing is the breathing, because it gets me relaxed to know that, you know what, if I set my mind that I'm going to do a certain pace, just remember my breathing and I'll make it through.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because, you know, the hardest part of learning yoga is learning how to breathe properly. Because you figure we don't pay attention to how we're breathing. We're just making sure we are breathing. And I find that students, what they need to, you know, they'll get the asanas, but when it comes to the quality of the breath, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't get this breathing. But it takes practice, and, you know, you're with your breath all day, every day. So just taking that time and, you know, breathing in, counting, breathing out, counting the same number, that really helps you become more aware of where you are. And it helps to, you know, tune out distractions too. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, it's just like as soon as I realize that my breathing has gotten erratic, I automatically remember, okay, I got to breathe. And then I always wear a heart rate monitor. So if I see it's going over 80%, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I'm like, you're not doing much. So why is it going at 80%? You're breathing. Concentrate, focus on that one, and then it just puts everything in perspective, and then I can see it go down, and actually I can continue with whatever activity that I'm doing.
Awesome. So Natalie, how does yoga help you to love and celebrate your body?
Okay, this gonna sound real. This is me. I'm vain, extremely vain. So, so when I first started wearing yoga, I was always making sure that I was covered up. So, you know, you wear the thing, you know, in your shorts or whatever. And so as I got more comfortable with it and everything, and then I'm watching the other ladies in the class, and I'm like, why is everybody butt naked? That means they, you know, what's going on, and why do I feel like I have to cover myself up? This class is hot. So I started buying, you know, the little cute little sports bras and the little bandy tops and all, in the short shorts or whatever. And I know that I'm not a size 2 or 4 or 6 or whatever, but I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, you know what? I love the body that I'm in. You know, it's a size between a size 8 and a 10, and I can do things that I didn't even think that was possible. And guess what? It's my body that's doing it. And then at the same time, when I'm looking at myself in the mirror, because, you know, in a yoga studio, the whole wall is full of mirrors, and all they tell you is look at yourself, watch your posture or whatever. You get to admire yourself, and you almost become vain with it, where you're like, looks like I'm getting an ab. Oh, I see that cut in my body.
Honey, that is not vain.
Yeah, I can see that cut in my bicep. Like we do I call it the dancer's pose, and you have to bend your arm, and I see that little cut in my bicep, and I totally forget that I'm supposed to actually lift up my leg, and I'm just looking at my arm like, ooh, yeah, I got this. Or, you know, when you do something else and you see your abs, I'm like, wait a minute here. My instructor was having us do one of the moves, and she said, suck in your stomach, and I wasn't really sucking it in, and I was looking in the mirror like, do I see like a six-pack with a cutout? Oh. And then I would say, focus, you know. Focus on the routine, not yourself right now. But it actually makes me appreciate it and see how much it has evolved in the last 3 years.
And you know what? I don't think it's vain to admire your body, because when we're doing something so wonderful like yoga for our body, and our bodies start, and yoga helps to really shape your body, your voluptuous, curvy body. And like when I started practicing, I was pregnant. And then after I had my daughter and I really got into my practice, I saw things kind of lift up and pull in that didn't look like it when I was in my 20s. So I think that we should all look in the mirror and love and celebrate our bodies. You know, go ahead and kiss your bicep and, look at all the work that you put in. And I think that yoga helps us to change the way that we're looking at ourselves. So
I definitely.
The body doesn't change. It's like, wow, you can see through the eyes of love.
Oh, I definitely agree. And actually, I was telling my instructor, because I went to yoga this morning, and I said, okay, I have an interview with Curvy Yoga. And she was like, what is that? It's just like women with curves. And she was just like, I've never heard of it, because the stereotype is they're size 0 to a 2 and they have a boy shape or whatever. And she was like, I've never heard of that. Everybody has a different shape. I said, I agree. I said, I look at myself and I said, I don't have, quote unquote, the boy shape, but I have that curve. I could work out and do yoga as 5'10", but my body has a shape that it's going to be toned, but it's going to work with the curves that's within that. And then I was looking at the other ladies in the class, and each one of us have different body types. So it's just the old saying is love the curves that you're in.
Yeah. And, it's interesting. One of the Curvy Yoginis in the book, she actually, when we were going through the process of choosing folks, and her body is a little bit slimmer. And she said, you know what, if I think about it, everyone has curves because my spine is curved. Everyone's spine has curves, so everyone has curves in some way. So it's really cool because, again, yoga helps you to look at yourself, whatever you have going on, and just love it. Because you're just, if you put in all that work on the mat, you're definitely going to start looking at yourself a little bit differently, and also making healthier choices. Healthier mental choices, healthier emotional choices, and healthier choices for your body. So with your 26, what is your favorite asana and why?
Okay. It's the fixed firm pose, and as I call it, the Japanese lean back.
Can you describe what that looks like?
Okay, it's the one where you get on your knees, and the goal is to get your knees close together, and then your legs are spread apart, but your legs are close, and your butt is between your legs with your knees. And then you slowly bring yourself all the way back to the floor on your knees with your butt between your legs. It's weird, but it's the fixed firm pose. And then final step is raising your arms above your head and grabbing on your elbows.
Okay.
And there's different calls for it, but it's the fixed firm pose. But that's my favorite one because it really stretches the thigh and the knees. And then on top of it, if you have any lower back, it helps you because you have to suck in your stomach and you have to push your chest up at the same time. So basically, I feel like it's a whole stretch of the body on your back, but you're on your knees.
So I know exactly what we would call it in the Vinyasa tradition is reclining hero pose. So,
that's what probably it is.
Yep, reclining hero. But that, I agree, that one feels so good. It's like the knees are opening, the bicep muscles are opening because who really stretches their quads? We talk about the hamstrings all day, every day.
Yes.
This pose, your quads are opening in the back, in the heart. What I like about the heart is opening too. So
the heart, everything is open, and then I got into that pose relatively easy. Well, it took me a minute to get into that pose, and just recently I started to close my knees, getting my knees closer together because initially, with the hips or whatever. So they said it's okay to spread your knees apart to at least get your butt to sit on the floor. And so, but the whole the posture itself is your knees are literally supposed to be touching each other, and you're supposed to be, all the way on your back.
But the great thing is, the more you do it, the more your body will respond to it.
Yes.
And I've been practicing for 12 years, and there's just some asanas that I've come to realize that my body, my skeleton is not cut to get into certain expressions of it. But like you said, there's always like an option. If you have to have your knees apart, if there's something going, in your skeleton that you're not able to bring the knees together, or even, in the length of your muscles, it's fine because you're working on it, and whatever grows out of it is beautiful.
Oh yeah. Just today I finally got the toe stand. I don't know. I hope it's called the same in your asana. But I finally got the toe stand where I can actually hold both hands to my chest in namaste position and keep my leg up. Because normally I would try to get the leg up into the toe stand, but I would be crooked one way. Or I would lean forward, but actually I would not be able to get my whole torso, my core straight, and have my hip flexor pushed out. So today I actually tried it, and I'm like, oh, I got it.
Yeah,
and it's just and it's just like, okay, now let me see if I can continuously do this in a class and, keep progressing, because one of the things is you have one good day, as my instructor say, you can have the best yoga practice. The next day, you're like, okay, what happened?
That's why in yoga we practice detachment. Say, okay, today it may be flowing, tomorrow might be on the side of the mat.
Yes, definitely.
So we talked about the asana. What does your meditation practice look like?
The breathing. It's more for me if I'm just laying back and just breathing and just controlling my breathing. That's how I meditate. Just to know that I have it in sync and just listening to that.
And that
just
is
making sure everything.
And I think that's one that, those new to meditation, those that have been doing meditation for a while, we can always go back to the breath. And just listening to the breath and observing it is a great meditation. It's a great way to really quickly reduce stress and anxiety.
Oh yes, I think so. I used to breathe heavy, and people were like, "Do you have asthma?" Or one time I just felt like I wasn't getting enough oxygen or whatever. I just feel like, and I don't have asthma. It's just like now that I've gotten a better understanding of my breathing, it's just like it's easier for me to lay there and just like, you know what, let me get my breathing. And then on top of it, I'm concentrating on my breathing. Or as they say, do the 6 counts in and out or whatever. I'm concentrating on my breathing that I don't even realize that I have anything else bothering me.
Right.
So it gives me that, those few minutes of serenity.
And just like yoga, the more you do it, the deeper it will become.
Yes, definitely.
So how do you practice your yoga off the mat? How do you take those lessons that you learned as you're in those asanas, as your mind is going here and there, but then as you can recognize that you are strong, that you are flexible, how do you take that off the mat and into the world?
Well, the biggest thing is I have literally become less stressed and less angry. And I think it all, like I said, I just got off of a 30-day challenge. And I was so determined and so focused on just doing the 30-day and going every day that stuff that would annoy me and irritate me, like the littlest thing, like, if you drive and somebody just cuts you off or does something real stupid, you just ready to snap. And you're realizing that, you're letting too many external sources control your attitude and your feelings. And so with actually me having that focus, I realized I control my environment more than I thought. And so with work, I would say things may annoy me, but it may annoy me for 2 seconds before I said, you know what? It's not my problem. Or it's not a problem that is so detrimental that it's going to cause me to go back to sleepless nights, drinking, going out and drinking a whole bottle, doing something just, totally stupid or whatever. It has actually given me total peace, because even if I think I'm overstressed or frustrated or whatever, I said, you know what? I could either go take a class and get over it. I go into my meditation mode and realize, you know what? Tomorrow's another day.
That's right. Awesome.
Yeah, so it has helped a lot. I mean, I think my coworkers will probably say they've seen a change in me because I don't snap as much. I'm not angry. I'm not moody. You know, it's like it does change you. It does change you, and it puts you in a better frame of mind. And then on top of it, when your body feels good and it looks good,
Mm-hmm.
how can you be